What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video I cover the topic of how do we scale our Walmart business, and I'm going to show you what I mean by scaling horizontally. Now, on the calls that I've had with many of you, a lot of you guys, when I reveal this to you, are like, wow, that's genius. Yes, I do appreciate that, but it's not really that genius. You're going to see how simple and effective this can be, and how it can really scale your Walmart stores as big as you want, and it also diversifies you. So we're going to cover that and a heck of a lot more, and I promise it's going to be quick and painless. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Let's do this. All right, guys and girls, so we're looking at this fancy diagram that I put together, and yeah, obviously it's not the greatest, but I do the best that I can. Let's think about Walmart and horizontal scaling and what that really means. So in this example, here is my one and only current Walmart store, and it's store number 1, and my split on this store is 50-50. Now, in another video, I will cover why I would prefer to take the 50-50 model over all the other models, and that includes the 70-30. And you might think like, Liz, you've really lost it. You're totally bananas if you're going to take a 50-50 store over a 70-30. But I promise you, when you see that video, you're going to perfectly understand why it's so genius. So, all right, here is store number 1, and it's 50-50. And we want to scale horizontally. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people say, well, can we just increase our total available credit and scale the store to the moon? That's not a good idea, and you'll understand why that's the case in just a second. So what I mean by scaling horizontally is this. Scaling horizontally means that you should create multiple stores. So what I mean by that is after you signed up for store number 1, now you sign up for store number 2, and again, you just duplicate the 50-50, you take a store number 2, now you essentially have one store of 100%. And once you get store number 2 going, then you go to duplicate and do a store number 3 and so forth. And if you notice, what we're doing is we're scaling in a horizontal fashion, which is this way, right? We're not scaling vertically. Scaling vertically would mean that we increase the total sales on this and we want to shove as many products onto there. And I'll talk about why that's not as effective as this here in a second, and why it could be detrimental or catastrophic if you do it that way. So again, here is scaling horizontally. We're just going side to side here from store 1, we create store 2, and then we create store 3. And now we've got several stores that are all out there like a mini army making sales day in, day out. And they're all at 50-50 splits. And again, it's very effective because of the fact that we have multiple stores. Here's the most important fact about this model here. And that fact is that we are diversified. So what does that mean, Liz? Treat this like a stock portfolio. Say, for example, you've got one stock and all of a sudden it takes a shit, right? It just totally takes a dump all over the place. It's a giant dump in the toilet, and you lose a bunch of money, right? In the case of Walmart, you're never going to lose a bunch of money. What could happen is that there will come a time, again, if you're in this game long enough and people can't understand this fact, that this store will get either suspended and or terminated. And you might say like, oh my God, Liz, that's horrible, but that'll never happen. That is a huge myth. Everyone, when they're in the game long enough, will get a suspension and or a termination. Now, I've told those of you that have taken a phone call with me, which you can do below by clicking, I will get on the phone with you and talk to you about Walmart automation. So just look below for my email, schedule that out. We'll know how many times I've been suspended and or terminated on Amazon as well as Walmart. So I will give you that fact when you get on the phone with me, but it will happen if you're in the game long enough. And guess what? It will happen if you're doing shit right. If you get suspended or terminated, it's almost like you should celebrate that you're at least in the game, because there's some people that are just downright chicken shit and will never get in the game. So congratulate yourself if you get terminated and or suspended, and just understand that you must have the perseverance and the persistence to evolve and get through the suspension, because if you're in the e-commerce game long enough, something will happen that will try and stop you from reaching your overall goals of being successful. So a store, if it goes down, guess what? You don't lose your entire fleet. You still have these 2 other stores. And if you continue to scale out horizontally, you'll have more stores than that. Because once this store goes down, guess what? You already have a list of winning products that we're selling on this store. And while it might take some time to age the store, you already know what products are winning, and you can load those up onto a brand new store. And then it's not the end of the world. All you got to do is get a new store, which is very doable in the game. So you're diversified, everything's good, you're not going to lose that much of your income. Now let's talk about another reason why it's good to do it like this, and that is for the simple fact, and I've talked about this in another one of my videos, is that I believe that most VA teams out there, almost every team out there, is understaffed. There's an influx of people setting up these stores, and guess what? They can't keep up. And this is the service provider, cannot keep up with loading that many products onto that many stores. So as a result, most stores are going to be understaffed, and it's just part of the business. You just have to face this simple fact. So if you expect to scale horizontally, that's good, because then you'll just have multiple stores with different products. They'll keep moving them. They'll keep making sure they do well. They've got more profit coming in for themselves. They'll keep getting new staff in there. But if you try to scale vertically, they're not going to be that inclined to load up that store, because they understand that there is a chance it could get suspended. So this store will be or remain stale once they reach the overall goal, which is $100,000 in profit on a store. So once they reach that, then the odds of it moving up that much higher are very low, because of the fact that they'll be more inclined to load up the other stores and get those to 100K. And at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't make sense to load up a store that much when there are certain odds that it will get suspended at some point in the future. And again, getting unsuspended is a whole other topic that we'll talk about in another video. So again, this is why I recommend people scale horizontally and try to add as many stores to their portfolio as possible. Once they do start making money, then they can make more money, and again, they can be diversified for the future. So questions in our comments, post them below. And always, I just remind you, if you want to jump on that call, be sure to click below as well. My email's addressed to somewhere, and they're like, obviously you can't click on that. Just go ahead and send me an email. But comments below, I always personally answer them. I'll see you guys next time.